Hi guys, welcome back to As We Speak. Today I want to talk about something that's very close to me, planning for the education of our children. I think all of us parents can agree that our children are the best thing that's happened to us. In fact, it's kind of hard to imagine that fun, single couple life without them. But with every child comes big responsibility. Now, more than ever, raising them right and making sure they have the required education to arm them for 21st century challenges seems more important than it ever was. And the financial aspect of this task is not lost upon us. Today, I want to talk to you about millennial parents. Millennials are the generation born roughly between the early 80s to late 90s. So basically, you guys are starting to have your kids right about now, or probably have first graders max. The millennial generation is by far the most educated and the most tech-savvy generation on earth to date. Now that bodes really well when it comes to your children. You guys are informed, educated, smart, well-read, but in spite of all this, millennials are the most financially unprepared for their future as well as the future of their children. According to an HSBC Education Report, in the UAE alone, parents spend about 100,000 USD on their child's education, starting from primary and including their tertiary or undergraduate education. Of a sample of some 500 parents surveyed around the country, 93% consider university education essential. But of the millennials surveyed, they wish they'd started saving earlier compared to the baby boomers.
65% of the parents surveyed would consider a higher education abroad.
And the millennial top favorite seems to be Germany. Also, interesting to note is that millennials are more likely to place importance on the prestige associated with a university, the quality of teaching that a university has to offer as compared to the earlier generations before them. But get this, the stats point to the fact that over a third of the parents don't actually understand or know the costs involved in actually getting there. In fact, here in the UAE at least, data shows that parents from earlier generations are more than twice as likely to be funding their children's education through a specific education savings plan than millennial parents. Millennials, I hope you understand that education is an expensive investment. And while it's so clear that you see the benefits of it, it's also equally important to start planning for it in time. So for all you young parents out there, here's some advice. Plan early. Nothing can bring you returns like time can. And the study shows that 43% of parents wished that they'd put more money aside earlier than later. Be realistic about the costs associated with your child's education. This means that it's important for you to allocate enough money to support your child through all the stages of his or her education. If university abroad is a consideration, college tuition, books, living expenses, travel expenses, all these things need to be factored in when you're thinking of your yearly spend. Finally, prepare for the long term. For me, as a parent, the future is a blur. When I was in university, it was so much cheaper than it is today. When our children are in university, who knows what the costs will be like? Who knows what university will look like? Will it look the same? We don't even know, will our kids know universities like we knew them? Or are they going to experience university in some other innovative 21st century way? And then there's also experiences. In a world where we have everything available to us, we all want to give our children more and more experiences. So all that has to be factored in when you plan long term. 93% of parents are currently contributing to funding their children's university or college education, and 90% would consider postgraduate education degrees. While you're paying for your children's higher education, it's also important that you secure yourself in the long term, and by that, you secure your children and their future second. So guys, the good news is that as a generation, you can actually afford to dream big and have incredibly lofty goals for your kids. And these goals are attainable. But it's equally important to be aware of the planning that needs to be put in place in order to make those dreams a reality. So get planning now as we speak. Thanks for watching. Bye. See you next week.
If you liked the video and if you'd like regular updates, don't forget to share, comment and subscribe in the section below. I really want to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching and thank you for all your support. Bye!